This week, Siskel&Ebert review, actor Nick Nolte coping with his daughter's stardom in I'll Do Anything. The Thing Called Love stars the late River Phoenix as a Nashville songwriter. And Detective Aidan Quinn falls for key witness Madeline Stowe in Blink.
There was someone in that hallway. I could smell him.
Smell? What does it say on this?
Madeline Stowe once was blind, but now she sees, and she thinks she has seen a murderer, but she isn't sure. That's a scene from Blink, the new thriller that's one of 5 new movies we'll review this week on Siskel&Ebert, including one of the last features finished by the late River Phoenix. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is Blink, and despite some awkward patches, I have to admit I stayed interested in this thriller about that old formula, the blind woman under attack. Why? Because I really liked her relationship with the cop in the picture. Madeline Stowe plays a blind woman, a violinist in an Irish folk band in Chicago. She has her sight partially restored through a corneal transplant as the film opens.
You have no depth perception now. Here I am.
Back home, she vaguely witnesses a killer after a murder is committed upstairs. It drives her to the police, where she encounters a smart detective on the make, played by Aidan Quinn.
You heard some suspicious noises upstairs, and you hear this guy coming down the stairs. You look out, and you spoke to him. That was last night, but you didn't see it till this morning?
That's right, yeah.
So what is that? I mean, your eyes are driving the train and your brain's the caboose. It hasn't caught up yet?
For a while, the detective doubts her story, but as dead bodies turn up elsewhere, he realizes that she needs protection.
I survived 20 years without sight or a cop at my door.
Oh, that's great. What are you going to do, break every lamp in the house?
No, I'll take the bulbs out.
You need some light?
Of course they get together. I would have been disappointed if they hadn't. But they seem to be equal partners in this story, which is refreshing.
I think I could fall in love with you.
Thank you, I guess.
You're welcome.
I like the casting in Blink. Neither Madeline Stowe nor Aidan Quinn is a big star, but they're both good here, evenly balanced, and seem to fit the working-class Chicago world in which this story plays out. Blink was directed by Michael Apted of Coal Miner's Daughter fame, and he has a sure hand on these middle-class characters. I didn't care about the murders in Blink, but that didn't stop me from enjoying the film.
Boy, I liked it a lot, too, and you know, you're right. So often in movies, the characters seem so phony. You know that they're not like anybody you would ever meet,
No.
but these people, I recognize it.
real.
And I want to tell you something, Gene. The first time you see Aidan Quinn in this movie, he's sitting with 4 other guys at a table in a bar.
Right.
I looked at them. The movie was 60 seconds old. I said, those are cops. Somehow, the way they held themselves, the aura, allowed you to see that they were cops. You could just sense that. And throughout the movie, there's the same...
It wasn't just the bad shirts and ties?
It wasn't the... Well, maybe so. Throughout the movie, the way that he performs and the way she performs reminded me of people I've really known. And in their relationship, they're mad at each other most of the time, which is also typical of a lot of relationships.
You bet. I think he does an excellent job. He's a very good, solid actor. She's playing the glamour role, and she does a nice job there. He has a tougher role to play. He's excellent.
Now, you know, I like the thriller elements more than you did, too, especially the way things turned out.
I like the visual way that they spin the killer because of this blinking quality in her life. But the fact of the serial killer, boy, I am so tired of serial killers.
I thought, well, it was a good movie.
We like the picture.
Yeah,
we like the
movie.
picture.
Okay, next movie. And our next movie is named Naked. Now, this is another strange and darkly original work by the British director Mike Leigh, who worked with his actors as they create characters and dialogue together. The film centers on an alienated and very bitter character named Johnny, played here by David Thewlis, who won the Best Actor Award at Cannes for this performance. He's an ironic, sarcastic, homeless drifter on the streets of London.
Sorry, sir. I'll try that, sir. Your lady companion's joining you, sir?
No, she can't make it today, pal. The old sciatica's playing up and everything, you know.
Come on.
What?
At the car.
He turns up at the apartment of an ex-girlfriend, played here by Leslie Sharp. Beneath the cynical hostility of his words, there's obviously deep, twisted alienation.
The last time I saw you,
In hell, were you born irritating? What have you come downstairs for anyway?
I fell asleep with the window open. I was cold. I came down. I had a pee. I've made some tea. I'm here. All right.
Was that the greatest story ever told?
Much of the movie consists of the agonized time-killing of people with nothing to do, nowhere to go, and no one who cares the slightest bit about them. The woman who owns the apartment, played by Claire Skinner, doesn't think that includes her.
Actually, I'm not feeling very comfortable.
Well, make yourself comfortable, love, or slip into something more.
My bath. Hot toast, hot milk, hot water bottle, bed, sleep.
Do you like me?
I don't know you, so...
Do you find me attractive?
David Thewlis's acting in Naked has been winning a lot of the year-end Critics Awards, and this is certainly an unforgettable performance. It's the portrait of a man at the end of his rope. He's smart, he's educated, he's articulate, but he's completely cut off from society, and his anger expresses itself in violence. Mike Leigh's previous film, Life is Sweet, was an essentially optimistic portrait of life in Britain today, and this is the other side of the coin.
I like the film a lot, and I like his performance. I like the character as written by Mike Leigh. I think that what he does is just open up the world of the working class person to say these people have as much or more texture than the typical range we get, which is that sort of either the total phony creation from Hollywood or some upper class character. This is just a
and of course,
really
he's a
good
working class character who isn't working and has no prospects of work, and he's in a society where basically the greats have opened up and allowed him and a lot of other people to fall through. One of the things he's angry about is that nobody even cares that he's angry.
Yeah, he can just walk anywhere. It's like he's on a strange planet, except that he knows that planet real well. Coming up next, the new film from Terms of Endearment and broadcast news director James L. Brooks. It's a controversial film. Once a musical, now the music has been cut out.
Well, hopefully
I'll Do Anything is next.
But this isn't a comedy. Then we're in a lot of trouble, because they're already fall down laughing at the teaser trailer in 5,235 theaters. Yes, it's a comedy.
I want to put on my yellow dress.
We can't get the yellow dress because it's underneath the plane.
Why don't you run under there and get it?
Nick Nolte is an out-of-work actor trying to cope with his precocious daughter in I'll Do Anything, our next film, which comes to you with a wild story behind it. It was once a musical until test audiences reportedly turned thumbs down on the songs, and its first-class writer-director, James L. Brooks, took them out. The result is an offbeat show business story that really feels uneven, and yet that awkwardness doesn't kill its definitely quirky appeal. Nick Nolte plays a marginal movie actor with a storm-tossed life. First and foremost, I guess, he has trouble getting the roles he wants from numbskull action producers like the one played by Albert Brooks, obviously patterned after die-hard producer Joe Silver.
I believe in screen tests. I believe in cutting people out if the dailies are bad. I believe in replacing people if the previews aren't there, because I don't make movies for theaters that serve cappuccino in the lobby. I make popcorn movies.
On the home front, Nolte's life is just as rocky as he takes custody of his troubled daughter after his former wife, Tracy Ullman, is about to go off to prison. This is one weird scene of crazed parental advice.
Take your vitamins so the poison in the food can't hurt you. What else now?
Teeth.
Right, thank you. Brush right after you eat, or your gums will start to bleed in your sleep and choke you.
Bath.
Back at the studio, in a hilarious scene, frustrated actor Nolte hears a young production executive run down a list of actors saying what's wrong with it. This scene is screamingly funny because part of it's dead on and part of it is so cruel.
Ed Harris losing his hair. F. Murray Abraham has a nose as long as an aspen ski line. Jeff Daniels, beanpole. Bob Hoskins looks fur-bearing when he takes off his shirt. Tommy Lee Jones, very unfortunate skin. John Malkovich, what dermatologist gave you this list?
Surprisingly, and most everything in this film is a surprise, Nolte's daughter, played nicely by Whitney Wright, ties the complex story together when she, through a fluke, becomes involved in acting herself on a TV sitcom. Suddenly, dad and daughter have a common goal.
Don't test me, child. I could eat you for lunch when I was your age, and I'm a hell of a lot bigger now. That's it. That's it. You see how it scared you and you reacted? Now, in acting, that's called action-reaction. Right?
Don't do that again.
If you know about the removal of the songs from I'll Do Anything, and I guess I've told you, it's impossible to watch the film without imagining them there. But problems and all, and there are lots of strained moments here, I still bought I'll Do Anything for its portrait of an actor and a dad, both desperately looking for love.
I did, and you know, it's a tribute to James Brooks and to everybody who made this film, that even though it was conceived as a musical, when you take out the songs, the dramatic part is intelligent enough and funny enough and smart enough to stand as a motion picture, because usually the times in between the songs in most musicals are times when nothing much is happening, and a lot happens in this movie. And you know, you're right, there were some moments of dialogue in this film where you just really can't really believe that people are saying what they're saying, because it's so cruel and so true.
It's smart. There are awkward moments. I can't get away from that. I mean, this is not a flat-out rave review.
It's not a perfect film.
No, there are sequences where the reading is off, and Albert Brooks's character sometimes is very sharp and funny, other times it's a little fuzzy in there. But basically, it's interesting
material. The movie is
material.
alive. Things are happening all the time.
Yes.
It's really worth seeing. When we come back, one of River Phoenix's last finished films, The Thing Called Love. That's Samantha Mathis, as a hopeful young country singer trying out for a slot at a Nashville showcase in The Thing Called Love. And the movie, which has been in release in only a few cities around the country, earns a place in history, I guess, as one of the last finished works of the late River Phoenix. I doubt if it is a film that he would wish to be remembered by. Look at him here, also playing a hopeful young singer in Nashville. Even if we didn't know he was going to die of a drug overdose within a year, isn't it sadly clear that there's something very wrong here?
Truth is, Miranda, I picked up the phone several times to call you.
The other actors do their best in scenes like this one, where Mathis and her would-be boyfriend, played by Dermot Mulroney, meet country star Trisha Yearwood after they have broken into her car to plug their demo tape into her sound system.
Are you the one singing on the tape?
Yeah, you listen to the tape?
Yeah. It's his song. I guess this song is available, or are you waiting to hear from everybody else whose car you broke into?
The Thing Called Love was directed by Peter Bogdanovich, who has made some great films in his time, including his first one, The Last Picture Show. He has also made some disappointments, and this is one of those, a pointless and rambling story that depends for its appeal on local color and is slowed to a halt every time River Phoenix appears on the screen. This movie made me really sad as I was watching.
Well, you know, Roger, I didn't have that reaction. I thought it was in the character. You may be right. I mean, he could have been wasted when he made this film, but I bought that as the character because obviously there are people in extremis who are not getting the song.
I thought, is he just trying to do James Dean or Marlon Brando here? Maybe that's what he told himself. But the thing is, even when they were mumbling and looking down at the ground and so forth, Dean and Brando had charisma. They were connected to their roles. They cared about them. And here, he doesn't seem to be connecting with anyone. He doesn't even really seem to really relate to the other characters.
Again, I thought that was the character. I'm not recommending the picture, but I'm going to defeat it on other grounds. I just thought that it was really sort of the formula story of the two would-be singers getting together to write their song. And I just thought that these characters weren't taken in any fresh way. There wasn't a surprising, frankly, I guess what I'm saying, the surprise was that this was a disaffected guy. That was the only surprise because of the story. You know where this story is going.
Okay, when we come back, Blue, the story of a young woman rebuilding her life after her husband's death.
The Century Plaza, offering the finest in luxury, service, and Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower.
Our next movie is a French-language film named Blue, starring Juliette Binoche, a fine actress who you may remember from Damage or The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Here she plays the young widow of a famous classical music composer, a man whose work we are led to suspect she may partially have composed herself. After he and their daughter die in a car wreck, Binoche tries to shut out music from her life. After the first shock of the death wears off, she turns almost in a trance to the man who had worked with both her and her husband over the years. Maybe she wants to see if she can still feel anything. Then she takes an apartment in Paris and tries to lose herself in the city, but he finds her.
Je vous ai vu. Peut-être cela me suffira pour un petit moment.
And then she finds someone too, the other woman her husband was in love with. She didn't know about this mistress.
I'll find you. Oui. Mais il n'était pas au courant, je m'en suis rendu compte. Je m'en suis rendu compte après l'accident.
You know, it's a funny thing. This film by the important Polish director Krzysztof Kieślowski has certain story elements in common with Intersection, the movie with Richard Gere that we reviewed last week. It's also about marriage and a car crash and another woman. But it's so much more intelligent, and the people in it are so much more grown up. They're smart. They have insights into themselves. They have lives that seem to extend beyond the limitations of the plot. Blue is a perfect example of the difference between European films and too many American films. This movie is about adults, and Intersection was about soap opera cliches.
I think it's a wonderful film, too, and what I liked about it, it's a strange way of presenting a person putting their life back together. She's involved in this situation of her life just torn apart, and how step by step she decides to put it together, to not deal with the professional world, the music, to not deal with her worldly possessions, this tremendous wealth that she has, a great lifestyle, then to deal with, you know, so starting afresh in an apartment alone. It recalls to me Last Tango in Paris, where Brando, from a similar death, has to start all over again. And I just like the way this is done.
One thing about this film, because I did think, as I was watching it and thinking of Intersection, how many story elements are superficially the same. In Intersection, the characters are right there. There is nothing behind them. In this movie, you're looking a little more closely. She's a mystery. Yes. She does things you don't always understand. You're asking yourself, what is she going to do next? Yes. Why did she do that? She makes you think about the character, and that's what's important.
She's not clearly labeled central character in movie, so therefore good, or something, or therefore worth watching. It's a real special film.
When we come back, my video pick of the week, one of last year's overlooked great films.
I tried to stop.
I just kept going back.
I can't control myself.
What's harder to resist than Orville Redenbacher's buttered popcorn? New Redenbutters. More buttery taste than you can imagine, drizzling over every square inch of Orville's butterfly kernels.
I love it.
In 3 irresistible flavors. Movie theater butter, urban garlic butter, and zesty butter. New Redenbutters.
That's cool. Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a father who'd do anything.
Anything?
Anything. To make his daughter happy.
Please, Daddy, please.
He'll put up with her lies.
I told him you were my lover.
Are you out of your mind? He'll go along with her plan. I must be crazy. And no matter how tough things may get, he'll love her till the very end.
I told him you were dying.
I'm dying now? Gerard Depardieu, My Father the Hero, rated PG. Starts Friday, February 4th at a theater near you.
Siskel&Ebert's Video Pick of the Week, brought to you by Orville Redenbacher, the first and last name in popcorn.
And now it's time for our Video Pick of the Week. And of the 10 titles on my list of the best films of 1993, one title didn't appear on too many other people's lists. That film was California, a movie that got lost in the shuffle last autumn. The movie stars David Duchovny and Michelle Forbes as a young couple who set off on a cross-country trip to write a book about the scenes of famous murders. To share the driving and the gasoline, they advertise for another couple, and their ad is answered by Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis.
I always thought it was the work of a serial killer. You know, anybody who took that much time and care bisecting another human being must have been, you know, he cut him in two.
Oh, he hacked him up?
2 pieces, yeah, in half.
Hey,
Anybody who did that must have been enjoying it. And he would have done it again and again and again until somebody stopped him.
that's good. It's a good theory, Brian.
What gradually becomes clear during the trip is that the character played by Pitt is completely capable of violence.
Hey, lucky logger.
The performances by Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis in this film are as brilliant and as frightening as anything in Taxi Driver or Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. And it's important that this isn't a thrilling action film. It's a movie about the insidiously seductive idea of violence, especially when you haven't experienced it firsthand. California is out this week on video. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this program. 2 thumbs up for Blink, a smart thriller that combines an ingenious plot with a romance that could be described as love-hate. 2 more thumbs up for Mike Leigh's strange and quirky Naked and its angry performance by David Thewlis. And 2 more thumbs up for James L. Brooks's I'll Do Anything, with Nick Nolte as an actor who doesn't get many roles but has a front row seat for the Hollywood sideshow. The movie opens next Friday. 2 thumbs down, though, for Peter Bogdanovich's The Thing Called Love and what I thought was a sadly dispirited performance by River Phoenix. And finally, 2 thumbs up, way up for Blue, a marvelous piece of filmmaking from director Krzysztof Kieslowski about a woman trying to put her fractured life back together.
So lots of good movies this week. Pictures with one word: Blink, Blue, and Naked.
And I'll Do Anything, which
Yeah.
is a very interesting film. That's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including My Father the Hero, starring Gerard Depardieu as a dad on vacation with his precocious daughter, and also Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, a comedy spoof starring James Carey and Sean Young. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
St. Ives Swiss Formula Hair Repair returns problem hair to its natural beauty. Swiss Formula Hair Repair, first aid for your hair from St. Ives. New Dromedary Bakery Bread Machine Mix, the one way to make gourmet bread machine breads. If it doesn't say made with real Fleischmann's yeast, it's not Dromedary Bakery. It's America's favorite jelly bean, Jelly Belly. Now in new 20 and 40 flavor gift boxes, the original gourmet jelly bean, Jelly Belly. Bigfoot Pizza from Pizza Hut, only $10.99 for the largest single pizza you can have delivered. Bigfoot Pizza, a legendary value.